Hello. The question I get most on my channel is what is the best method to factor quadratic equations? And there is hot debate. If you look through my comments, people are very opinionated. So today we're going to have a battle of the methods. Let's go. Okay, as our sample problem for these methods, we're going to use 6x squared minus 13x minus 5. So let's start with what's called the AC method. We take our ax squared plus bx plus c and we rewrite it as x squared plus bx plus ac. So we take our 6 and we multiply it into our negative 5 and it becomes x squared minus 13x minus 30. Now we go ahead and we factor this guy. Because we've gotten rid of the coefficient of the x squared, we can go ahead and just do the 2 parentheses method. To create an x squared, we know it's going to be an x and an x. Now, to create a multiplies to a negative, we know one of them's negative, one of them's positive. And now we start messing around with the factors of 30. We're looking to create a 13. So a 3 and a 10 is a possibility, but if one of them's negative and one of them's positive, we can't get a negative 13. So we keep looking. So we've got 2 and 15, that could work out. If we want our middle term b to be negative, that means we need the larger of those two factors to be negative. So that's negative 15 and positive 2. Now, are we done? Absolutely not, because we can see that if we multiply this all out, our x and our x is not going to multiply to be a 6x. So our final step is as follows. We take that a that we multiplied into the c at the start, and we now divide it out of each of our numerical terms. And we get x minus 15 over 6, x plus 2 over 6. Now, if either of those reduce, we go ahead and do that. And we get x minus 5 halves, x plus 1/3. And finally, we take these two denominators here and we multiply them around to become coefficients of the x. And so we find that the factorization of 6x squared minus 13x minus 5 is 2x minus 5 times 3x plus 1. And we can FOIL that to show ourselves that we're right. 2x times 3x, 6x squared, 2x times 1 plus 2x, negative 5 times 3x, negative 15x, and finally, negative 5 times 1, negative 5. And when we combine our middle terms, 2x minus 15x, 6x squared minus 13x minus 5, 6x squared minus 13x minus 5. Now, some people swear by this method. They say, I do this every time, I love it. Other people go, all right, I see that it works, but I don't understand why it works, and that leaves me very unsatisfied. So let me give you an alternative method that also works, but helps you understand why. Okay, we're going to go back to our same parent problem, but this time we're going to draw a big X in the middle. This method's called the X method. So here's how we do it. Up top, we start that same way, AC, negative 30. Down below, we grab our B, negative 13, and we are asking the question, what multiplies to negative 30 but adds to negative 13? And to help us, we're going to make a factor list of 30. So those are our factors, and as we look to create a 13, we see that 2 and 15 or 3 and 10, this is just like before, only we go, well, to multiply to a negative, we need one negative and one positive, and that's not going to get us our negative 13, right? We would need minus 3 minus 10 to add up to negative 13. So instead, our larger number, 15, is our negative, our smaller number is our positive. And once again, just like before, we're not done. This is not what goes inside the parentheses. Instead, we're going to write out what the FOIL would be. So our 6x squared is our first term. These two numbers we just found, those are the coefficients of our insides and our outsides. That's what we just found. Minus 15x plus 2x, and then our lasts are going to be that number right there, minus 5. Now, to get it from our FOILed version back into our factored version, we're going to continue with factoring by grouping. And what factoring by grouping does is it just says, I'm going to look at these two terms and anything that's common to both, I'm going to factor out. They both contain an x. They both contain a 3. I'm going to factor out a 3x. And when I factor a 3x out of 6x squared, I'm left with 2x. And when I factor a 3x out of minus 15x, I'm left with. And now I'm going to look at these two terms, and there's nothing that's common to those. So essentially, I'm factoring out a 1. That's it. Now, here's the money. If those two, what's inside the parentheses, are not the same, you did not do this step correctly. Go back. But if they are the same, then our last step is I now have this term that contains a 2x minus 5 and this term that contains a 2x minus 5. I'm going to pull a 2x minus 5 out of both terms. And out of this term, I'm left with 3x. And out of this term, I'm left with plus 1. And that's exactly what I got using the AC method. So some people love the X method because it helps them understand what the different numbers they're finding along the way mean. Some people love the AC method because it is simple and it works every time. I want to hear from you in the comments. Let's vote. Battle of the methods. Are you an AC method person or are you an X method person? Let me know. Leave any problems or questions you have in the comments. Consider subscribing to my channel so you know when I put out a new video. And as always, keep on mathing.